Gentlemen, we are all set to go ahead with the proceedings of today's conference. I would request everybody to kindly take their seats inside the hall, have all mobile phones kept on to silent mode, and may I request for the exit doors to be closed so that we can have a smooth flow of the event. And ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege in inviting on stage our eminent dignitaries. I would like to invite our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. A.K. Singh, Director, Indian Agriculture Research Institute. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome him. I would like to invite Dr. K.V. Satyanarayana, Vice President, Life Sciences Advisory Group, Sadhguru Management Consultants. A very warm welcome to you, sir. And joining us online is Mr. S. Jaswant Singh, Director, Agriculture from Punjab. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I would like to invite on stage our distinguished guest, Professor Ashwani Pareek, Executive Director, NABI and CEO, CIAB. A very warm welcome, sir. Inviting Mr. Ajai Rana, Chairman, FSII and Managing Director and CEO, Savannah Seeds. A warm welcome. Inviting Ms. Anuja Kadian, Director, FSII and Asia Pacific Government Affairs, Director, Corteva, Agriscience. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. And inviting Mr. Rajbir Rathi, Vice Chairman, FSII. Namaskar and good morning. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. A.K. Singh, Director, Indian Agriculture Research Institute. Our guest of honor, Professor Ashwani Pareek, Executive Director, NABI and CEO, CIAB. Our eminent dignitaries on the days, special invitees, distinguished representatives, stakeholders from center and state governments, research institutes, seed industry, agri mechanization, crop care, government procurement policymakers and implementing agencies, rice millers and exporters, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the inaugural session of the conference on DSR for sustainable and profitable rice production, organized by the Federation of Seed Industry of India. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference aims to explore approaches for adoption of DSR through collaborative efforts of the government, industry, research institutions, user industry, and other value chain partners. The discussions are conceptualized to identify the challenges, solutions, and to create a way forward for promoting DSR rice cultivation and making it more profitable for the farmers to adopt DSR. And ladies and gentlemen, today we are honored to have with us Dr. A.K. Singh, Director, Indian Agriculture Research Institute and other eminent dignitaries. And I would now like to request Mr. Ajai Rana, Chairman, FSII, to kindly do the honors of welcoming our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. A.K. Singh, with a floral bouquet. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest. Thank you. I would request Mr. Rajbir Rathi to kindly do the honors of welcoming Dr. K.V. Satyanarayana, Vice President, Life Sciences Advisory Group, Sadhguru Management Consultants. We also take this opportunity once again to welcome Mr. S. Jaswant Singh, Director, Agriculture Punjab, who has joined us on the virtual mode. Requesting Ms. Anuja Kadian to kindly do the honors of welcoming Professor Ashwani Pareek, Executive Director, NABI and CEO, CIAB. Warm welcome to you, sir. I would request Mr. Raghavan to kindly do the honors of welcoming Mr. Ajai Rana, Chairman, FSII. I would request Mr. Kuldeep Tyagi to kindly welcome Mr. Rajbir Rathi, Vice Chairman, FSII. and inviting Ms. Ratna Kumria to kindly welcome Ms. Anuja Kadian, Director FSII. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, and our esteemed guest, we gather here today to mark the beginning of our special event with the auspicious ceremony of lighting the ceremonial lamp, symbolizing the light of knowledge that guides us in the pursuit of our excellence. May I now request our Honorable Chief Guest and eminent dignitaries on the dais to kindly light the ceremonial lamp and formally inaugurate the conference. Can we have the candle on the stage, please? Thank you to all our esteemed dignitaries for illuminating our path forward. May I request for a group photograph with the lamp, sir? Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, let's once again put our hands together for that auspicious beginning of the conference today. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for doing the honors. The Federation of Seed Industry of India, FSII, is a 40-member-led association of research and development-based plant science industry, engaged in the production of high-performance quality seeds for food, feed, and fiber. In the country, and FSII is actively involved in promoting the direct seeded rice, that is DSR, as a sustainable and profitable approach to rice production. Mr. Ajai Rana is the chairman of the Federation of Seed Industry of India and the managing director and CEO of Savannah Seeds Private Limited. He is recognized for his extensive experience in the agriculture industry, with over 32 years of professional expertise in various commercial operations, business development, strategy, and leadership roles across Asia and North America. Under his leadership, Savannah Seeds has become a leading rice and technology player in the South Asian region. And ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to request sir to kindly begin the proceedings with his welcome remarks and the context setting. So let's put our hands together to welcome Mr. Ajai Rana.
Good morning. Good morning. And this is better. I'd like to begin with thanking the FSII Secretariat team for organizing this very relevant event and seminar on direct seeded rice. And I take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest for the event, Dr. A.K. Singh, Dr. Ashwani Pareek, Dr. Jaswant Singh, who is joining online, Dr. K.V. Satyanarayan, Dr. Rajveer, my colleague from FSI board, and Anuja, uh, Mr. Kondinia, other colleague, Dr. Ramaswamy, our ex-chairman of Federation, all the industry colleagues, people from the industry, press, academia. So FSII is a federation of now close to, we are an association of about 50 seed companies, and FSII member companies are all R&D focused. Our mission is to improve farm productivity with the intervention of new technologies. FSII spend a lot of time and energy on policy advocacy issues. FSII mission is in fact aligned with the Government of India's mission of enhancing farmers' income through better science. So you all know the role of seed in agriculture. Seed is the base first input, and this is the input which farmer in fact once they have done the sowing, and they in fact look forward for next 4 to 6 months depending on the crop duration about the outcome of the crop. And seed plays very important role in agriculture production. In fact, all other inputs have a major role, but I think seed is one input. The genetics plays a very important role, and we have seen what new seed has done to Indian agriculture over the last 70 years. From a net importer of food grains, India has become a net exporter of food grains. And that has largely happened due to innovations in seed and other inputs. So I think a big round of applause for the scientific community of India and the Indian farmers for achieving this feat. Today's agenda about direct seeded rice is very relevant and need of the hour. If you look at rice crop, the opportunity of technology intervention in rice crop is huge. Rice is nearly 1/3 of Indian agriculture. We cultivate rice in 45 million hectare, which translates to about 110 million acres. If I convert it into our terminology, 11 crore acres. It's a very large crop and plays an important role in Indian exports as well as livelihood of farmers. But such a large crop, still, the productivity level is nowhere close to the world best or even the averages. Our Asian neighbors, Vietnam is about 5.5 tons per hectare. China is now nearly 7 tons per hectare. India's productivity is still 4.2, 4.4. In fact, that's the range. But the good news, we have crossed the 4 tons. It used to be 3.6, 3.8 tons for many years, but now we are around 4.2, 4.3 tons per hectare range. The technology intervention is very important in such a large crop, which has not only big footprint in terms of acres, but also farmers' income, but also on the environment, the sustainability. In fact, there has been a lot of criticism of rice crop about uses of natural resources, mainly water. Today's seminar is focused on, in fact, sustainability and productivity with the intervention of direct seeded rice. Direct seeded rice is not something which is new. In fact, Indian farmer, they also know about direct seeded rice. Direct seeded rice has been practiced by the Western rice farmer. Of course, rice is a very small crop in the Western part of the world, Americas. But they have adopted direct seeded rice nearly 2 decades ago. But in Asia, which is nearly 90% plus of rice cultivation, largely rice is still cultivated using conventional transplanted system. I don't want to steal in fact, thunder from the speakers, but we have a very exhaustive report by Satguru about the impact of direct seeded rice, not only on sustainability like environment, but on all other natural resources. But in terms of, in fact, I touched upon productivity, the impact on the nation and the opportunities we have, we exported 22 million tons of rice in 22-23. And the 22 million tons translates to nearly $10 billion of exports. India's total agriculture export is about $50 billion. So rice alone is 20% of that. And in 22 million tons, nearly 45% is basmati. And the major contribution, in fact, like in basmati revolution in India, has been driven by IRI. So we are honored to have Dr. Singh today among us. But with the technology intervention, we can improve. In fact, opportunity we have with DSR is changing the agronomic practices. The reason for low productivity in rice has been, in fact, like inefficient input use efficiency. The input to output ratio is very poor in rice. If we look at right from the plant population, even up to the harvest, the practices are not the best. With the direct seeded rice, there's an opportunity to transform the agronomic practices. We can improve plant population, we can improve weed control using new herbicide tolerance technology, crop protection. So this creates an immense opportunity for impacting a large crop like rice. Today we have all, in fact, like major stakeholders in the room, in fact, seed industry, seed researchers, academia, media here. So I look forward to the deliberations from today's event. And we have, in fact, like eminent panelists during the sessions later on. With this, I announce opening of the seminar. And once again, welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for those warm words of welcome and for setting the context of today's conference. Ladies and gentlemen, the seed industry plays a crucial role in sustainable rice production, focusing on developing and promoting technologies that increase productivity while ensuring the environmental sustainability. And the seed industry's approach to sustainable rice production is multifaceted, addressing the challenges of food security, environmental conservation, and farmer profitability. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Ms. Anuja Kadian to kindly present the seed industry perspective on sustainable rice production. Ms. Kadian serves as the Director of the Federation of Seed Industry of India and holds the position of Asia Pacific Government Affairs Director at Corteva Agriscience. With over 18 years of experience in the corporate strategy and the government affairs, she has been instrumental in advocating for sustainable agriculture and the use of technology in farming. Her work often involves participating in forums and discussions that focus on climate-resilient agri-food systems, agri-tech innovations, and empowering the farmers to mitigate climate risk and secure food security. So let's put our hands together to welcome Ms. Anuja Kadian to kindly share her perspective.
Hi everyone. Before I begin today, we'll share a quote from Father of the Nation, Mahatma Gandhi. If you give me rice, I'll eat today. If you teach me how to grow rice, I'll eat every day. Good morning, everyone. It is a privilege and an honor to welcome all of you and share my thoughts today. We take pride in the fact that India is the world's second largest rice producer and #1 rice exporter. Thanks to our farmer, even during the pandemic and the lockdown, Indian agriculture remained resilient. And ag diplomacy is emerging as one of the cornerstone of the nation's diplomacy efforts as well as the global South narrative. Rice is grown in more than 10 states in the country, and approximately 50% of India's population depends on rice for sustenance. It is not only a significant food crop, but also a cash crop for the nation. Indian agricultural policies recognize and prioritize rice as an important crop under food security programs. It is an important component of Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. At the same time, there's another side of rice cultivation that we could not ignore and require a critical analysis. Rice is one of the 3 most water-intensive crops grown in the country. To produce 1 kg of rice requires anywhere between 4 to 5,000 liters of water, which puts enormous strain on water resources, ranging from irrigation to the large-scale withdrawal of groundwater for rice cultivation. It is labor, water, and energy intensive. In addition, considering the fact that several states in India follow intensive rice-based cropping system, we observe soil health deterioration, water table decline, and the emergence of new chemical-resistant diseases and pests. It is a high probability. It is the need of the hour to move towards a sustainable solution for rice-growing farmers. Direct seeded rice is emerging as a viable solution. It is one of the most efficient, sustainable, and economically viable rice production system. It can help farmers reduce water usage by up to 35 to 40%, and labor reduction by 50 to 60%, and energy reduction in energy consumption by up to 20 to 25%. It also allows farmers to conserve soil moisture while maintaining the integrity of the soil. Additionally, DSR also qualify for carbon offset program and generate additional source of income for the farmers. I would also like to share that at Corteva, we are the strong believer of sustainable agriculture practices. Our vision statement is to enrich the life of those who produce and those who consume, ensuring progress for generations to come. In 2019, we launched Acre Next, our flagship DSR program in India, to promote sustainable rice practices and to create an enabling ecosystem for 40,000 acres of rice area. We further partnered with Water Resource Group to utilize this very effective multi-stakeholder platform to accelerate shift towards DSR. We have a huge focus on solving weeds issue in DSR, and we aim to strengthen hands of the farmers with more sustainable products in the crop protection portfolio as well. As agriculture is facing visible impacts of climate change, DSR has the potential to offer a climate resilient solution. This will require a calibrated approach involving multi-stakeholder. Transition from transplanted rice to DSR must be seen more as a behavior change rather that will require consistent support and hand-holding, as well as push towards good agriculture practices is crucial. Filling in gaps of information and knowledge asymmetry is paramount. Moreover, recognition programs for farmers adopting DSR will go a long way. Innovative financing models are important to empower FPOs in this journey. Mechanized DSR is also a key component of this, and the government schemes like Submission on Agriculture Mechanization provide a dedicated focus towards DSR. To conclude, I would say DSR should be an integral component of government strategy for Viksit Bharat, with an aim to increase the area under DSR in the country. Today, I look forward to learning more from the insights of the respected speakers and delegates. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us today Mr. Ashwani Pareek, who is the Executive Director of the National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute, NABI, and is a prominent plant biologist and educator, noted chiefly for his contribution in plant molecular biology and biotechnology. And sir is also the CEO of the Center for Innovative and Applied Bioprocessing. I would now like to invite you, sir, for the special address. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together once again to welcome Shri Ashwani Pareek.
Namaskar. Thank you. I can handle it. No problem. Very good morning to all of you. I'm very pleased and honored to stand before you this morning as we are discussing a very relevant, very important topic. I think I would like to put on record my sincere appreciation to Federation of Seed Industry of in India to have thought of this topic and invite all stakeholders this morning to discuss the relevance and the know-how of this technology. My name is Ashwani Pareek. In next 8 minutes or so, I would like to share my experience, which I have gained as I have learned what rice is and how we are dealing with rice. I have made a small presentation over here, which is not directly related to DSR, but giving a different perspective that not only drought is important, not only water is important, but also there are other aspects which are related to the quality of water. The title, as I mentioned over here, ensuring rice grains in salt, but no salt in rice grain. That's very relevant when it comes to the rice community. All of you would understand what I'm trying to say about it. And just to put the things in perspective, I think we all realize, all sitting in the room, that when it comes to water, it is very important to understand that not only the quantity of water is important. This is the topic of discussion when you're talking about saving water in terms of reducing it from 5,000 to 30 to 40%. But the quality of water is also very, very important. So quality and quantity of water goes hand in hand as far as the rice cultivation is concerned. I'm going to share two short stories over here just to put an example what we have experienced in terms of rice. The first story started when I joined Jawaharlal Nehru University almost 20 years ago, and we have gained considerable understanding how to deal with salinity, which is another important aspect about the quality of water, and we have success story to share with you. And the second story started 3 years ago when I joined as the director of National Agri-Food Biotechnology. So I just share quickly that both the things are important, both from academia perspective as well as building a infrastructure to handle these new challenges which are being faced by the agriculture, not only academia, by industrialists as well. So I would like to put the stage over here by showing one cover page story which was published a couple of years ago, cover page of Nature, which actually had a satellite image which was very, very alarming, and I got very threatened when I read the literature which talks about this region, and it says that in this region, India has harvested almost more than 100 cubic kilometers of groundwater. If you see, this includes the states such as Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, and UP, which is also considered the food basket for India. And the water level has gone down to such a level that I think it is almost an alarming situation. We had Dr. Kush visiting Punjab University 2-3 months ago, where he made a very alarming statement that if the rice cultivation in India goes with the traditional ways, by the year 2050, Punjab will not have even a single drop of drinking water. This is a very alarming statement he made. I think that we need to understand, and this is very important for all of you in this perspective as we are discussing today. So I would like to take you to a small place in Rajasthan which I belong to. This is the Sambhar Salt Lake. I think some of you have already learned about it. This is a salt water lake where I was very happy to see that, yes, you have the salt dunes, which is being used for commercial production of salt. But as a plant physiologist, I was very happy to see the green patches as well, meaning thereby that photosynthesis and salinity are not mutually exclusive. So there is a beautiful story which talks about how water quality and quantity affect the socio-economic behavior in the people. In those of you who are interested, Cornell University, along with Sadhguru, made a beautiful video. The name of the video is Pursuing a Dream. This is available on YouTube. This gives me an inspiration that, because I belong to this place, and I have seen that farmers are practically leaving the place because there is nothing to, they cannot grow anything in the whole village, and this lake water is expanding to the neighboring area. So this problem is, expanding. Those of you who would like to know more about it, there was a movie also which was made, PK, and which tells that how the people in this village are so simple, they are living their livelihood. But I think non-availability of good water for cultivation is actually affecting the livelihood of one and all in this village, in the Sambhar Lake and beyond on that. So we embarked on a project almost 20 years ago. I will just cut the story short over here. We looked around and found that there is a rice which is grown practically in seawater. And for a molecular biologist, I think this was the gold mine, and we did a lot of investigations by procuring the seed and growing them in our laboratory under controlled condition, understanding what are the changes in proteome, what are the changes in metabolome, what are the changes in anomic, transcriptomic, a lot of investigations. After almost 2 decades, two theses which the student did on these systems biology approach, we actually learned that I think everything starts at the perception of the stress. And when we looked at the literature, we realized that nothing is known how the stress is perceived. We are talking about osmotic stress over here, which talks about less water and poor quality of water. So we took it as a challenge, and one of my initial students who worked very hard to identify the first ever known osmosensor from rice. Here is a cartoon showing how does that work. I will skip the details of that, but just to give you enough idea that this is a membrane bound receptor. This is a membrane-bound receptor which get activated at histidine aspartate phosphoryl A. There are downstream members which we have investigated. So last 20 years have given us beautiful insight that how Pokali is able to tolerate salinity stress. It's a kind of osmotic stress as well. Why IR64 is not able to do that. And we were very happy that we got good lead into that. Good work was done by the student, and we patented this technology in almost 20 countries, and I'm very happy to say that this work, this technology fetched a lot of recognition. Here is a picture which we were invited to the President House to receive this Best Technology Award from the President, and the technology has now been named as STRONG, which stands for Stress Tolerant Rice of Next Generation, which can grow not only under saline condition, but a drought condition as well. And the reason behind that is that osmosensor, it not only senses the osmotic stress which comes because of salinity stress, but the osmotic stress also, and we have mimicked those conditions. I will skip the details of that, but this technology has now been, we had a patent attorney from IIT professor who was retired, who worked day and night with me to even get patent in China, which was very difficult. But the JNU, my university, has now transferred the technology to industry. And what I learned from the industry last month when we visited, they are very happy with it, and they have now transferred the seed to Philippines for further field testing, because genetically modified food is yet to be approved for consumption in our country. So what I'm trying to show over here is that rice is very important, and not only understanding how rice is able to grow under less water, but quality of water. The water is available, but not of good quality, is also going to play a very important role. So this is the future work which I would like to present over here. And this technology has been transferred. Now, I think, as I said, that Government of India has yet to approve the consumption of genetically modified food. So we have to look upon other technologies which are relevant in this area. We are talking about transgenesis, which I just showed. The genome editing, which is coming up in a big way, and the third technology which we are working is mutagenesis, which is again a very powerful technology. I'll just show you one slide over here. Using support from International Atomic Energy Agency, FAO, we had support from that for the last 2 decades now. We developed a mutant population in IR64, and we screened them for several generations. And this generation I'm going to show over here is the 8th generation. We call it M8 generation. These are the microplots which we created at Jawaharlal Nehru University, where we had you can see that drought, salinity, and a very complex level of stress, which we talk about, salinity and drought. These mutants were tested, selected ones. And just to show you one example over here, this is the picture from the plot where salinity and drought were co-imposed on the stress, which is coming up in a big way. And you can see the wild-type plant, which is shown on the left side. They are succumbing to the pressure. Nothing is grown in that. No yield was there. But beside this, if you see behind this mutant, you can see behind this wild type, you can see the mutant which are growing flourishly under this saline and drought. And the white patches, if you see, these are salt which are deposited. So this technique is very, very powerful. I would like to pose over here to handle any kind of complex trait, as we are dealing with salinity and drought over here. And the yield parameter also were very, very promising when we saw the yield improved in these mutant over there. When I joined NABI 3 years ago, with this confidence that yes, we can handle complex trait, we actually started to build up the infrastructure which is very, very relevant to handle such complex trait. I would like to invite you all to visit this beautiful campus. We are in Mohali under Department of Biotechnology, National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute, and we started building up infrastructure. One of the things which I thought that Government of India was a very historic decision in the year 2022. They actually came up with the policy decision where SDN1 and SDN2, all of you are aware of it, they were considered equivalent to the conventional breeding. So this was a big leap as far as the development of new varieties handling complex trait is concerned. And we already know that the products are very, very important. Many countries have released the genetically edited, gene-edited production. Over here is the GABA rich tomato. Many such products are in pipeline in our own country as well. But we were very prominent. We were very happy that we were given the charge of having this National Genome Editing Training Center, because the faculty at NABI, most of the seed industry, they have visited our campus. We are very confident we have the technology related to this gene editing training. So we have gene editing training center as well. The second thing we thought, since the genomes are quite complex, so we should have good computational facility. So I focused on advanced supercomputing facility. I'm very happy to say this was also inaugurated in the year 2022. This is Param Smriti supercomputer, which is of the capacity 680 teraflop. All of you are welcome to use it for your big data analysis. But the third thing which we thought that these two technologies are important component of it, but we also thought that once we have the speed breeding facility, which we call DBT Speedy Seed, which stand for Specialized Platform for Enhanced and Efficient Delivery of Seed for Research. We actually got support from Department of Biotechnology, and 2 days ago this facility was inaugurated. This has 20 chambers. I have a booklet also. Those of you who are interested, this is open for all industrial collaboration. We'll be very happy to share it with you, and there's a video also which I have requested Ratna to play during the lunch session. But this facility is going to be a very important boon for advancing research, not only DSR, but beyond DSR, beyond RISE as well. So I would encourage you to all use it. This is the DBT speed facility which we are talking about. And you're all welcome to make use of it. Let us join hands together to make use of this infrastructure and move in the direction where I think FSII is going to play a very important role in not only encouraging DSR, but providing suitable ecosystem and environment in terms of policy decision also for adopting DSR by the farmers. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that insightful presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us today on the virtual mode Mr. S. Jaswant Singh. Mr. Singh is the Director of Agriculture in Punjab, assumed his role with a vision to transform traditional agriculture practices into knowledge-intensive ones, leveraging information and communication technology to meet the diverse information needs of farmers. The Department of Agriculture, under his leadership, aims to make agriculture extension services more diversified, knowledge-intensive, and demand-driven. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. S. Jaswant Singh. Sir, can you hear us clearly?
Yeah.
So, over to you, sir, for your address.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Director Saab is busy in some meeting, so I will take this meeting. Myself, Gurjeet Singh Brad, Joint Director Inputs, and myself looking after DSR program in Punjab State. So, as you know all, there is some problem of groundwater in Punjab State. So, ma'am, can you hear me? Ma'am, आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
हाँ जी sir, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. जैसा कि आपको पता ही है सभी को कि पंजाब में इरिगेशन वाटर की थोड़ी स्क्रैसिटी रही कि जो ग्राउंड वाटर है उसका जो लेवल है वो दिनों दिन नीचे जा रहा था. तो उसके लिए हम पीछे 2012-13 से लगे हुए हैं कि किसी न किसी हिसाब से इसको रोका जाए और स्टेट को बचाया जाए. हमारे 150 ब्लॉक में से अराउंड 130 ब्लॉक्स थे जो वो डार्क जोन में चले गए थे. तो उसके लिए हमने बहुत सारा डाइवर्सिफिकेशन की कोशिश की, लोगों को समझाने की भी. हमने इशू ये पैडी के बराबर कोई हमें इकोनॉमिकली वायबल नहीं बैठ रहा था. और जब तक इकोनॉमिकली वायबल कोई नहीं बैठती क्रॉप तो फार्मर अडॉप्ट नहीं करते हैं. तो इसके लिए फिर कुछ फार्मर्स के ने या हमारे एक्सटेंशन एक्टिविटीज ने जो एक्टिविस्ट थे उन्होंने ये डीएसआर टेक्निक हमारे पंजाब में पहले शुरू की. तो जिसमें क्या था कि जो ट्रेडिशनल राइस की सोइंग करते हैं हम उसको ट्रांसप्लांटिंग ना करके डायरेक्ट जैसे दूसरी क्रॉप्स होती हैं उसको खेत में सीधा बो दिया गया. तो उससे क्या था कि हमारा जो वाटर कंजर्वेशन थी वो काफी बढ़ गई थी और क्रॉप की यील्ड बराबर तो रही और कई फील्ड में जैसे यूनिवर्सिटी ने नोट किया तो यील्ड भी बढ़ गई. तो उसके बाद 2015 के बाद यूनिवर्सिटी ने टेकअप किया तो इसका प्रॉपर रिसर्च शुरू हुई, सारी रिकमेंडेशंस आई. तो 2020 के बाद इसको हम प्रॉपरली स्टेट गवर्नमेंट प्रमोट कर रही है कि हम मैक्सिमम एरिया इसके अंडर लेके आए, ताकि जो हमारा ग्राउंड वाटर है उसको बचाया जा सके। तो पीछे जब ये आप गवर्नमेंट आई तो हमने इसमें सब्सिडी का प्रोग्राम जो था वो इन्होंने शुरू किया। तो डीएसआर अडॉप्ट करने वाले फार्मर्स को हमने 1500 रुपए पर एकड़ सब्सिडाइज किया, कि जो फार्मर डायरेक्ट सीडिंग लगाएगा तो उसको हम 1500 रुपए पर एकड़ सब्सिडी देंगे। तो हमें काफी सक्सेस मिली है। जैसे हमारा पिछले साल 1,70,000 एकड़ के करीब हमारा रकबा हुआ था, तो उससे हमारे अराउंड 30,000 फार्मर थे जिन्होंने ये टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट की। तो उससे हमारा जो था कि फार्मर्स में अडॉप्शन होने से थोड़ा, जब एक काम का एक किसान लगाता है या एक गांव में 2 किसान लगाते हैं, तो जो हमारी एक्सटेंशन एक्टिविटीज थी या हम बताते थे उससे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट आने लग गया जब एक फार्मर ने एक सक्सेसफुली अपने खेत में लगाया और उसकी क्रॉप प्रॉपर हुई। तो उससे हमारा ये आगे हमें भी थोड़ा ऐसे लगा कि हम इस टेक्नोलॉजी को आगे एडवांस कर सकते हैं। तो उसके लिए हम इस बार पिछले साल हमारा 1,70,000 एकड़ का था टारगेट, एरिया हुआ था। तो इस साल हमने 7 लाख एकड़ का टारगेट रखा है कि इस बार हम 7 लाख एकड़ में इसको करवाएंगे डीएसआर को। और इससे पंजाब गवर्नमेंट ने सब्सिडी है जो 1500 रुपए पर एकड़ दे रहे हैं हम, तो उसके लिए 50 करोड़ रुपए का हमारा रखा है राशि, ताकि को हम इंसेंटिवाइज कर सकें। तो वैसे तो आप सभी को पता ही होगा कि डीएसआर मेथड क्या है, तो मैं उसका थोड़ा ब्रीफली बताना चाहूंगा कि डीएसआर में हम क्या करते हैं कि जो ट्रेडिशनली मेथड है, जो राइस ट्रांसप्लांटिंग का मेथड है, जो हम पहले उसकी नर्सरी लगाते हैं और नर्सरी 1 मंथ की होने के बाद उसको खेत में ट्रांसप्लांट करते हैं पडलिंग करके और खेत में पानी खड़ा करके। तो इस टेक्नोलॉजी में हम क्या करते हैं कि इसमें डायरेक्ट सीड है जो वो खेत में बो दिया जाता है। तो जो पहले टेक्नोलॉजी हमारे फार्मर्स ने या खेतों में किसानों ने 1-2 जगह की थी, तो वो क्या करते थे कि उसको बिल्कुल सूखे खेत में वो उसकी जुताई करके उसमें वो सीड बो देते थे। तो जब ये पीएयू ने ट्रायल किए तो उन्होंने एक टेक्नोलॉजी दी जिसको पंजाबी में हम तरबत्तर टेक्नोलॉजी बोलते हैं। या उसमें क्या करते हैं कि जैसे हम एक फर्स्ट सिंचाई दे के उसको जब खेत बत्तर आ जाता है, जो उसकी प्रॉपर मॉइस्चर हो जाती है, जैसे हम वीट या और क्रॉप बोते हैं, उस तरह से हम इसको पैडी को भी सीड डाल के सो कर देते हैं। तो उससे हमारा क्या हुआ कि एक तो जो फर्स्ट इरिगेशन थी वो हमारी 21-22 दिन लेट हो जाती है, और 22 दिन जो लेट होती है वो 22 दिन हमारे 2 महीने जैसे होते हैं, क्योंकि उस टाइम गर्मी इतनी ज्यादा होती है कि पानी अगर हम उसको ट्रेडिशनल मेथड में खेत को भर के खड़ा करना पड़ता है और उसमें एवेपोरेशन और बहुत सारे इशू आ जाते हैं। और हमारी जो ट्यूबवेल्स हैं या जो मोटर्स हैं वो हमारी दिन में 10-10 घंटे 20-20 घंटे चल के भी पूरी नहीं आ रही थी। तो इससे क्या है कि उस समय में हमारा ये 21 दिन पूरे बचा देता है। तो यूनिवर्सिटी की रिसर्च के मुताबिक इससे हम जो टोटल पैडी को वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट है उसका 20% सेव कर लेते हैं अगर डीएसआर के थ्रू चलते हैं। तो उसमें जब ये हमने शुरू किया तरबत्तर टेक्नोलॉजी से, तो उसमें हमें बहुत अच्छा सक्सेस मिला और फार्मर्स काफी इसको अडॉप्ट करने लगे। इसमें एक इशू तो जो सरकार की तरफ से या जो हमारी तरफ से एड्रेस हुआ कि पानी की बचत हो रही है, और दूसरे उसके साथ एक जो सोशली या जो फार्मर के लेवल पे इशू था, उसमें सबसे अच्छा ये हुआ कि जब ये ट्रांसप्लांट होता है पैडी ट्रांसप्लांट, तो यहाँ पंजाब में लेबर की बहुत दिक्कत रहती है। तो लेबर मिलती नहीं है। पहले ये 1200-1500 रुपए में ट्रांसप्लांट होता था, फिर ये 2000 चला गया, फिर 3000 चला गया, फिर ये 4000-4500 तक भी चला गया। तो फिर उसके लिए हमने यूनिवर्सिटी ने और एग्रीकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट ट्रांसप्लांटिंग मशीनें इंपोर्ट भी की और उस पर सब्सिडाइज भी किया कि लेबर का इशू है जो उसको थोड़ा ईज किया जा सके, बट वो उतना क्योंकि हमारी, तो इसमें जो लेबर की समस्या थी हमारी ट्रांसप्लांटिंग की, वो बहुत अच्छे लेवल से एड्रेस हुई। फिर 1,70,000 एकड़ का ही आया है, पर उससे क्या हुआ कि वो जो उस एरिया में जो लेबर यूज होनी थी वो दूसरी जगह जाने से उसका थोड़ा लेबर का इजी हुआ और रेट थोड़े कंट्रोल में आ गए। और सबसे बड़ा जो हमारा ये था कि इसमें वाटर कंजर्वेशन का था और इसमें पानी का बचत तो हो ही रहा है। और दूसरा जो हमने एक चीज नोट की, तो इसकी जो फास्टर जो ग्रोथ होती थी और इसका जो टोटल मैच्योरिटी पीरियड था वो भी थोड़ा कम हो जाता है, क्योंकि अगर हम उसको पहले 1 मंथ के लिए नर्सरी में रखते हैं और उसके बाद ट्रांसप्लांट करते हैं, तो वो पूरा जो पीरियड था वो सीधा ही खेत में बो देने से उसका जो पीरियड था थोड़ा कम हो गया। और दूसरा ये था कि इसमें जब हम इसको फ्लड करते थे तो उसमें जो ट्रांसप्लांट होती थी, जो गैसेस की एमिशन होती थी, वो थोड़ी इसमें, क्योंकि पानी भर के नहीं खड़ा करते हैं और इसमें वाटर जो है काफी सेव होता है और जो ग्रीन हाउस गैसेज हैं उससे भी हमारा थोड़ा बचत रहती है। और एक जैसे पैडी की जो शीथ ब्लाइट और फुट रॉट वगैरह, वो भी कंपैरेटिवली इसमें कम आती हैं, क्योंकि इसमें पानी भर के खड़ा नहीं करते, मॉइस्चर कंटेंट कम रहता है, तो उससे हमारा ये थोड़ा कंपैरेटिवली कम रहता है। हमारे पंजाब में 2 तरह की ये टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्टेड है, एक वेट डायरेक्ट सीडलिंग्स सीडिंग एंड ड्राई डायरेक्ट सीडिंग। ड्राई डायरेक्ट सीडिंग हमारे पहले ये इंट्रोड्यूस की थी, सबसे पहले ये ड्राई वाली की थी, बट उसके बाद में जब ये इसकी अडॉप्शन शुरू हुई या फार्मर्स ने हमारी फीडबैक दी, यूनिवर्सिटी ने रिसर्च की, तो उसके बाद जो वेट डायरेक्ट सीडिंग है जिसको हम तरबतर टेक्नोलॉजी बोलते हैं, वो काफी सक्सेस रही। उसमें हमारे जो वीड कंट्रोल था, जो सबसे बड़ी समस्या थी, उसका भी अच्छा कंट्रोल बना। उसके बाद जो 21 दिन तक पहली सिंचाई है वो डिले हो जाती है, तो उससे हमारी वाटर सेविंग काफी अच्छी हो गई। तो इससे हमारा काफी जो था एक तो वाटर सेविंग हो गई और दूसरा जो था उसकी सक्सेस रेट भी काफी बढ़ गया। तो इसमें हमारे जो इशू थे आ रहे, चैलेंजेस आ रहे थे, तो उसमें 3-4 मेजर इश्यूज आए हमें। एक तो जो इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट थी उससे फार्मर हेजिटेट हो रहे थे काफी, क्योंकि डायरेक्ट सीडिंग के लिए एक सीड ड्रिल्स चाहिए थी जो डायरेक्ट सीड कर सके, वो काफी महंगी पड़ती थी। और फार्मर को ये था कि अगर मैं इस पे पैसे भी लगा दूं और बाद में मेरा ये सक्सेस ना हुआ तो बड़ी मुश्किल होगी। तो उसके लिए हमने कुछ सब्सिडाइज्ड मशीनें तैयार करवाई। पहले तो जो मशीन बनाने वाले हैं वो बनाने के लिए राजी नहीं थे कि हमारी पता नहीं बिकेगी कि नहीं, तो उनको मनाया गया। फिर उसका थोड़ा यूनिवर्सिटी ने टेक्नोलॉजी थी बेटर की, तो उसके बाद जब हमारी ये अडॉप्शन शुरू हुई तो वो बहुत अच्छा हमारे रिस्पॉन्स आने लगा। फिर हमने कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज में ये मशीनें दी थी ताकि फार्मर जो छोटे फार्मर हैं वो अडॉप्ट कर सकें। बट ये चैलेंज अभी भी हमारे जब ये सीजन आता है तो आ जाता है कि मशीनरी है जो कम पड़ जाती है, और दूसरा जो सबसे बड़ा इशू रहता है, जो छोटा फार्मर है वो थोड़ा इससे रिलेक्टेंट रहता है कि मेरे को मशीन मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी, या मैं इसकी तैयारी कर लूं बाद में मौके पे मशीन ना मिले।
सर आई एम
तो
सॉरी
इसके
टू
लिए
इंटरप्ट यू सर, अगर आप प्लीज़ 1-2 मिनट में कंक्लूड कर देंगे। वी आर रनिंग आउट ऑफ टाइम सर।
पार्डन मैम।
Sir, we are running out of time. If you could kindly conclude.
ओके 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 मैम ओके। तो इसमें हमारे 2-3 इशू थे। एक तो मशीनरी का था, थोड़ा जो सस्ती या छोटे फार्मर के लिए बन जाए तो वो बेटर रहेगी। और दूसरा ये था कि हमारा सबसे जो बड़ा इशू था कि ये हमारे एक स्टेट में ही हो रही है और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट इसको बेनिफिट कर रही है। तो हम ये चाहते थे कि अगर इसको हरियाणा और वेस्टर्न यूपी में भी अडॉप्ट हो जाए और इसकी कोई सेंट्रल स्कीम्स में थोड़ी हो जाए अडॉप्शन या कन्वर्जेंस हो जाए कि जो डायरेक्ट सीडेड कर रहे हैं, जैसे हमारे डाइवर्सिफिकेशन में ये पैसा आता है, उसमें डायरेक्ट सीडेड के लिए हमें सब्सिडी करने में मुश्किल आती है, क्योंकि वो पैडी ही रहता है। तो पैडी पे क्योंकि डाइवर्सिफिकेशन की जो भी असिस्टेंस आती है वो पैडी को छोड़कर हम कोई क्रॉप अडॉप्ट करते हैं तो उसमें देते हैं। बट इसमें हमारा जो मैटर है वो सॉल्व तो हो जाता है। तो बट उसका ये एक हमारा रहता है कि अगर ये सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में डीएसआर टेक्नोलॉजी को इसको अडॉप्ट हो जाए और इसके लिए सब्सिडी मिल जाए, या इसको जैसे हमारे गवर्नमेंट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट शेयर मिलके बन जाए तो वो हमें काफी बेनिफिट रहेगा। और दूसरा, जैसे हमारे ये स्टबल बर्निंग के लिए या इन सीटू के लिए या आउट सीटू के लिए हमारी मशीनरी है, उस पर सब्सिडी है, तो ये डीएसआर की मशीनरी पे भी थोड़ी सब्सिडी आ जाए। बाकी हम ये इसका जो डेमोस्ट्रेशन है, जो फार्मर फील्ड स्कूल है या फार्मर की अडॉप्शन है, उसके लिए हमारी एक्सटेंशन एक्टिविटीज चल रही हैं, बड़ी अच्छी चल रही हैं। तो हमारी कोशिश यही रहेगी कि इस बार हम 7 लाख का टारगेट रखा है और उसको कर पाए। और एक इशू मेरा थोड़ा रह गया था हमारा इसमें, जब ये शुरू किया था तो इसकी सब्सिडी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की बड़ी प्रॉब्लम आई थी हमें। तो उसके लिए हमने क्या किया कि हमने इसके लिए एक पोर्टल बनाया स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने, जिसमें पहले जो कोई फार्मर करना चाहता है उसको अडॉप्ट करता है, उसमें अपना डाटा डाल देता है कि मेरे को ये यहाँ मैंने इतना एरिया लगाना है। तो लगाने के बाद जब वो हमें बता देता है तो हमारे जो ऑफिसर्स हैं, पहले चीफ एग्रीकल्चर ऑफिसर्स हैं, बताते हैं उसको, फिर हमारा फील्ड में जो है हमारे एडीओ वो वेरीफाई करते हैं, उसमें कुछ परसेंट फिर ब्लॉक एग्रीकल्चर अफसर करता है, और उसके बाद जो चीफ एग्रीकल्चर अफसर है वो उसको वेरीफाई करके हमारे पास पुश कर देता है। तो उसके थ्रू डीबीटी सीधे खाते में हम जो 1500 रुपए डालते हैं, और इट्स ए बिग सक्सेस। तो फार्मर को एक जो था कि पैसे मिलेंगे नहीं मिलेंगे, जैसे सरकारों में रहता है कि ऐलान तो बड़े बड़े हो जाते हैं, बाद में पैसे देने के टाइम थोड़ा खिसके जाता है काम, तो वो हमारा 2 साल से पूरा सक्सेसफुल चल रहा है। और इंशाल्लाह अगर अच्छा चला तो हम इस साल इसको 7 लाख हेक्टेयर तक जाएंगे। धन्यवाद। अगर किसी का कोई इसमें क्वेरी हो तो मोस्ट वेलकम।
हार्दिक धन्यवाद सर, आपने टाइम निकाला और हमारे साथ आज के इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में जुड़े। So ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the next segment of our inaugural session. The FSII Sadhguru report on direct seeded rice is a significant document that highlights the benefit and advancement of DSR technology in sustainable rice production. This report, ladies and gentlemen, will be an important resource for stakeholders in the agriculture sector, including policymakers, researchers, and farmers who are looking to adopt more sustainable and profitable rice production methods. I would now request our Honorable Chief Guest and our dignitaries on the dais to kindly do the honors of launching the FSII Sadhguru report on DSR. And let's put our hands together. I would now like to invite Dr. K.V. Satyanarayana, Vice President, Life Sciences Advisory Group, Sadhguru Management Consultant, to kindly present a brief summary of the report. With over a decade of industry experience, Dr. Satyanarayana has a strong background in innovation management, corporate research strategy, and technology acquisition, especially in the biotechnology and the agri-food sectors. He is also involved in project management and development-focused public-private partnership projects involving technology transfer. And prior to joining Sadhguru, Dr. Satya worked with Tata Innovation Center in the areas of industrial biotechnology and food ingredients, and is a certified lead instructor of the FSPCA, Preventive Controls for Human Food. And over to Dr. Satyanarayana to kindly present a brief summary of the report.
Very good morning. The outside, I'm honored to be part of this August gathering, and I would like to thank FSII for giving us the opportunity to be part of this event and also coming out, contributing to the knowledge paper. I also take this opportunity to acknowledge all the stakeholders from both public and private sector who gave us the time for primary consultations and giving us inputs for this report. We deeply, sincerely acknowledge their support in this part. So, since I will not be going in detail about the content, so briefly, this is more of a summary of what report contains. As the stage has been already set as a DSR, what is DSR, what are the benefits of DSR? India has made a strong and steady progress, now close to 4.5 million hectares coming under DSR system in India, largely driven by shortage in water and labor, but also there are a lot of other benefits in terms of input efficiency, lower cost of production, sustainability or factors such as lower GHG emissions, etc. The report also highlights the current challenges being faced in the cultivation, what are the criticality of these challenges, and what are the mitigation challenges. I think the most commonly challenge which we come across is the crop establishment factor, the early establishment, weed management, especially the weedy rice control is becoming a problem. There are also a lot of nutrient deficiency systems available. The most important thing, because of the change in cultivation practices, the change in soil flora, fauna, and the related pests and disease. So these are some of the issues need to be addressed for the DSR adoption to increase. The report also talks about the current role of public and private sector in DSR adoption. We have highlighted the efforts by the public sector. This includes the collaborative research. I mean, a lot of research was going on in partnership with IRI and ICR system, who are contributing a lot in terms of technology transfer, extensions, creating awareness on DSR, also working on the varietal development suitable for DSR, and also relevant tailing programs. We just heard from Punjab side. I mean, there are a lot of state incentives from various state governments to promote DSR, mostly in the form of cash transfers as well as subsidies to buy machinery suitable for DSR farming. There are a lot of efforts by private sector, and these efforts are mostly as a package of practices to help the rice crop adapt to dry or adverse environmental conditions. A lot of private seed companies have providing them as a package of practices and as a services, associated services to the farmers for DSR adoption. And there's a lot of emerging trends which are happening in agriculture sector, which are also can be applied to DSR, and this include use of precision tools for optimal seed placement or for nutrient management, as well as irrigation application. Of course, the focused breeding efforts are required, and of course, weed management and other biotic and abiotic stresses need to be controlled. The current focus of the seed industry has been largely on the direct use of the varieties that were developed for traditional puddled rice under the DSR system. I think there's a need for national strategy to prioritize the DSR trait introgression into varieties or hybrids. I think a roadmap could be developed with all the stakeholders to have identify and prioritize the DSR specific traits which could actually be increase the DSR adoptions. So we have listed some traits for a section on breeding for DSR with desirable traits such as for QTLs or genes. There a lot of work has been done. There have been some QTLs or donor genes identified, some desirable traits, largely to a root architecture system. And also, a lot of work is already going on in the area of early uniform convergence. You have anaerobic germination. I mean, a lot of work is already under progress by IRI and also at National Research Institute in Cuttack, NRRA, Cuttack. So the lodging resistance is another area which needs to be looked in. So there are a lot of QTLs. So there could be a public-private partnerships along with the seed industry, where some of these traits could be introgressed for launching of varieties or suitable hybrids suitable for specific agro-climatic zones. There's a dedicated section on the environmental or the sustainability part. I mean, there's a lot of focus on DSR rice, not just by the value chain players in terms of agri inputs or the farmers. A lot of FMCG companies also looking at DSR now. A lot of corporates or FMCG players have mandates of the reducing their GHG emissions, which includes a scope 3 or indirect emissions, which typically come from the value chains, either upstream or downstream. So a lot of investments going in promoting a DSR in Southeast Asia and other South Asian countries. There's a good potential for a DSR to contribute to reduction of GHG emission, especially through methane gas reduction. We estimated if the adoption of a DSR goes to the 40% in India, there's a potential of almost reducing 11.4 million metric tons of CO2 equivalents in the country. So that's a good way of contributing to India's NDCs for GHG emissions. In last year's budget, Indian government also announced a green credit program. This is slightly different from the carbon credit program, which is already present. This green credit program is basically a voluntary program which could incentivize all the stakeholders, including civic society, to contribute to environmental sustainability by having eco-friendly practices. DSR could actually foot in. Of course, there needs to be a mechanism put in place to operationalize this as of now. We have estimated the additional income of almost 1,300 rupees per hectare can be accrued to farmers through carbon credits if there is a mechanism in place. And there are a lot of players already working in this area, working with the farmers, FPOs, and pooling the carbon credits and trading them and passing on the benefits to the community. So, a way forward, sorry, something. I think so there's a need for investments in R&D, need to develop high yield DSR varieties or hybrids specific for different agro-climatic zone and also soil profiles. I think we see a big gap in database creation. I think considering the number of variations of DSR system, maybe wet DSR, dry DSR, there's a need to create comprehensive data on water use efficiencies or GHG emissions profiles at these various systems and the cost of cultivations across these variations. So I think there's a need for creating a centralized database for further analysis. Of course, there's a need to further improve the package of practices and extension services. Again, a lot of work needs to be done at the policy level, both formulating supportive policies and regulatory frameworks to support the farmers, and also to credit and insurance access for DSR farmers. Some efforts are already, we have seen some examples of in Haryana where farmers are being recognized for following who are following a good water efficiency system. So maybe there could be schemes devised to honor or recognize the DSR adopting villages, or so that becomes an incentive for farmers or FPOs to adopt DSR. There are already financial incentives have been talked, I think, but it's all a state level at this thing, and there is no uniform policy. These are all state level varying across. So it's good to have a uniform central level, possibly at fiscal incentives. The most important thing is the procurement and distribution system. I think close to 60% of the rice is going to public system in India through FSII. I think there's a need to have a mechanism in place for public procurement of a DSR system. Maybe there could be some preference given to a DSR rice in the public procurement system as well as the government food procurement systems. Again, as I mentioned, green credit program, it's a very new concept. I think operationally it needs to be a market needs to be created, and there also need to be methodologies need to be developed for the standards and reporting and verification. Again, we didn't find consensus on the effect of DSR on the milling properties as such. There are some institutes said they have seen some impact on the milling. Some said that doesn't have a milling. I think there's a need to have a consensus, but Considering the different hybrids or varieties being used in DSR, there is a possible milling machinery need to be changed for DSR. Maybe some support could be provided to this milling sector so that they could have an advanced technology or upgrade their current system of milling suited to DSR. The most important thing is the market development. I think we looking at us subsidizing or cash incentives at a supply system, but I think most important, a sustainable way of increasing the adoption of DSR would be a market linkages. I think a strong market linkages, either partnership with the value chain players like retailers, food companies will encourage sourcing and procurement of DSR grown rice. I think the most important thing would be having some kind of branding or a logo for DSR rice. It could be an industry-led logo, or it could be a government-driven logo or a branding, which could help consumers know that DSR system and then help them identify and pick up in the market when they see the logo. I think we have seen a similar logo for fortified foods by FSII, launching a logo for that. A similar logo could be created for DSR rice, which could help in the procurement and creating a market demand for this DSR rice. Of course, the need for capacity building and knowledge sharing activities to help farmers adopt more climate smart practices and also effectively participate in carbon market mechanism. So that's a brief about the report. I hope you find the report useful. And we look forward to any feedback from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. A.K. Singh is the Director of the Indian Agriculture Research Institute. His expertise lies in the field of rice genetics, breeding, molecular genetics, and basmati rice improvement. As the Principal Executive Officer of IARI, Dr. Singh oversees the Institute's research, postgraduate education, and extension education initiatives. The IARI, under his leadership, plays a significant role in shaping India's agricultural research and policy. Under Dr. A.K. Singh's leadership, IARI has undertaken several key research initiatives, some of them being advancements in horticulture technology, energy consumption in wheat production, solar energy utilization. And Dr. Singh has introduced several innovative initiatives, such as the Farmer First program, attracting the retaining youth in agriculture, Mera Gaon, Mera Gaurav, MGMG, and ICT initiatives like VKV and KVK Net. So, ladies and gentlemen, kindly join me in welcoming Dr. Singh for the inaugural address.
Very good morning to each one of you, and thanks to Federation of Seed Industries of India for inviting me for this very important initiative. And thanks to Ajai for taking lead on this very important aspect of direct seeded rice. The disadvantage of being last speaker is that by the time you come to speak, everything has been said. So actually, you don't have much to say. Nevertheless, I will try to see what are the problems at ground level that farmers are facing, because we work in close collaboration with farmers on this particular technology of direct seeded rice. So if you look at the advantages of DSR, which has been said time and again, that you have greenhouse gas emission reduction. We know that there is substantial, almost 90% reduction in the methane gas happens, although there is some increase in nitrous oxide, and the global warming potential of nitrous oxide is higher. But if you take the overall balance compared to transplanted rice, the DSR has about 35% less greenhouse gas emissions. So that's a clear advantage which is well established by studies which has been done for the Center for Climate Resilient Agriculture at our institute. Then of course, water use efficiency. As it was rightly said that whatever water, although there may be increase in number of irrigation, if you just see the frequency might increase, but the quantity of water applied per irrigation is much less. For transplanted conditions, when you want to do flooding, you need about 5 hectare centimeter water, or a little more than that, up to 10 hectare centimeter. In this case, if your field is perfectly labeled, you can manage with 1 hectare, 2 hectare centimeter. So the quantity of water applied per irrigation is much less. And more importantly, when you do transplanting because of a crust formation in the soil surface below the ground, most of the water which stagnates is evaporated. But in this case, there is recharging. You irrigate and the water recharges the groundwater. In a DSR field, if you have irrigated today, you should be able to walk in the field tomorrow without any difficulty, which doesn't happen in case of transplanted, because the water goes down and it supports the recharging of water. Labor economy has been very well said, that currently now the rate has gone up to 4,500 rupees per acre, and all the transplanting, particularly in Punjab and Haryana, is based on the migratory labor coming from Bihar and UP. And you will wonder that the farmers, they will come up to Delhi railway station to receive the labor in train with the fear that somebody else will not lift them with a higher payment. So that's the kind of situation how transplanting of rice operates in Punjab and Haryana. And when we were discussing with the farmers, one of the prime force for pushing farmers to DSR is non-availability of labor, which happened more during the COVID period. There was sudden rise in the areas under direct seeded rice. But the farmers have to be told about other advantages, the hidden advantages which are not apparently seen for adoption of this. Labor is, of course, a primary force. And then, of course, the reduction in duration is again about 7 to 10 days. Easily you can reduce. That means you reduce at least 1 to 2 irrigation by duration reduction. And that gives a great advantage. Now, if you look at the merits and demerits of DSR, as it was rightly described by the representative from Director Agriculture, Punjab, that there are two ways of doing direct seeded rice. One is wet DSR. Wet DSR is done in those areas where we have plenty of water. You can puddle field. You can then go for broadcasting. You can go for drum seeding. But more and more innovations are happening under DSR for wet rice is using drone for line seeding. So you can have precise sowing of rice with drone, perfectly maintaining line-to-line distance of 20 centimeter, so that you are able to manage other operations routinely. And of course, the other countries, as Ajai would know, because he has been prime force, his rice tech has been doing a great job. In US, the helicopter seeding is a common practice in the puddled conditions, what is called wet DSR in those conditions. The dry DSR, the second approach is what was described as tar-batar method, where you apply water first. When field comes to condition, then you go for plowing, and then you go for laser leveling and sowing of the crop. Now this has a major advantage, that it controls the weeds, because with the first irrigation, weeds will germinate. Volunteer plants of previous crop will also germinate, and once you plow, they are taken care of. So it gives you a clean crop. There is no mixture. In this case, that's the major advantage. But the major problem that tar-batar suffers is that soon after sowing, in a day or 2 or 3, if there is a rain, that leads to a crust formation, and this crust formation results into poor germination. And our experience has been that even in the last crop season, many farmers had to plow their field because the poor plant stand. So this is a major challenge, and this is something, these kinds of unexpected rains are becoming very common. How do we address this problem technically and scientifically is a challenge to the scientific community. One way is that if this kind of situation happens, then we advise farmers to immediately go for irrigation, so that your soil becomes soft and germination does not get affected. You get full germination. Otherwise, you will have normal germination. There is no problem. Another unexpected problem which is happening, farmers are reporting, is that in dry DSR particularly, the rat damage is phenomenal. A lot of rats are coming and damaging, eating away the seeds. How do we control these? These are the problems when you learn, when you do it. So rat management becomes an extremely important issue in dry DSR situation, because this will, rat, they are very smart in eating and going away, and then that will affect the population stand. Third intervention, which is important, that even in case of dry DSR, if stand is poor, a intervention of transplanting should be also recommended as a practice, taking plants from wherever you have good population, uprooting and just transplanting so that you do gap filling and yield doesn't suffer because of poor plant stand. Now, the challenges, if we, what happened? Yeah. The anywhere, the plant stand in dry DSR it requires substantial intervention from mechanization, from seeding as it was mentioned. Last year we came across with a seed drill developed by a farmer in Sirsa, a local vendor who named it as BBC. That's called not British Broadcasting Corporation, but Baba Bidhi Chand. And the intervention he used, that there is a kind of mechanism by which the seed dropping happens at a 6-inch interval, right? Plant to plant distance is maintained. And when seed drops, it drops in bunches, 4 to 5 seeds at one place. Now this gives advantage when the seedlings of 4 to 5 plants, they emerge together, they have sufficient force to push the soil up even if there is a rain. It doesn't suffer, germination doesn't suffer. But single seedling, the soil mass will suppress it, it will not allow the germination to happen. And when we visited our farmer who had grown DSR for us in large scale seed production, we visited field when the crop was harvested. It was very difficult to make a difference whether it is a DSR crop or transplanted crop, seed to seed and plant to plant distance. Perfect distance was maintained. I think those kinds of innovations would be very, very important. Iron deficiency is going to be a problem, particularly in the states of Punjab and Haryana, where soil is light soil, sandy loam soil. Iron deficiency will be a major problem with the time to come. And that's where I think intervention of the kind where we can provide some sort of seed coating of iron with the seed, which can take care. You can see the first 7 days when seed germinates, it survives on the endosperm balance. Endosperm nutrition is most balanced nutrition, like milk of mother who feeds a baby, doesn't require anything else. Likewise, endosperm is so nutritionally rich, it provides all micronutrients that is required for the plant. But the moment the root get into the soil and there is deficiency of iron, the plants start yellowing, and that becomes a problem. And therefore, the seed coating with iron or some other intervention, and therefore all input providers have to get together in this endeavor. The bead problem is a major problem which farmers been facing in DSR. You see, because when we do transplanted rice, after transplanting, the recommendation is that first 15 days you keep the standing water about say 1 to 2 inch, right, in the field. And the major reason for that is the water acts as a herbicide. It will kill weeds, it will not allow weeds to germinate. And that's how the practice of transplanted rice has evolved, to control weeds primarily. And when we go for DSR, weeds become a major problem. Currently, farmers are using, pandimethylene followed by bisparibak sodium as a common practice, but we don't have the all range of beads effectively controlled. 2 times application is becoming expensive. In spite of that, the control is not very effective. And that's where the new generation technology like ST rice, where a lot of work has been done by Ajai group. They have come out with 2 hybrids. At IRI, we have come out with 2 varieties which have been released. As a matter of fact, 2 years back by Central Variety Release Committee, Pusa Basmati 1979 and Pusa Basmati 1985, which are the improvement of 1121, the leading Basmati rice variety, and 1509, again a short duration Basmati rice variety. And this new generation herbicide tolerant rice varieties will provide a boost to direct seed rice cultivation. Our other partners are working on development of several non-Basmati rice varieties. The group at Cuttack has come out with the Sabagi Dhan improved with herbicide tolerance trait, and also Rana sub 1 being improved for that. So I think a couple of these non-Basmati rice varieties will also become available in the background of leading varieties, which will be a boon for promotion of direct seeded rice. We are hopeful that we will get the expansion of label claim soon. We have a lot of groundwork has been done, and hoping that this decision happens soon so that we will be able to take the technology to farmers. The fourth problem is the problem of nematode. This is going to be a major problem because in transplanted condition, because of puddled situation, the nematode migration from one plant to other plant is restricted because of mud. This I am saying based on my experience that we grow in our IRI field, we grow our nursery under dry seeded condition because we have to deal with 10,000, 20,000 germplasm. So in puddled condition, it is very difficult to manage. We do dry seeded nursery. When we uproot nursery, many times we have found a heavy infestation of nematode, full of root galls. But when we transplant them in transplanted field, the problem does not come. We have never found any problem of nematode in the transplanted field. So that migration from one plant to other plant is drastically checked, which is going to happen as a major problem in this. And this area we are working extensively. We have done screening of a number of wild species of Ajai, including Nivara and several others, identified potential donor sources with resistance to nematode. And those genes have been mapped, and we are in the process of transferring these genes through marker-assisted breeding into our leading varieties. The other groups also have to take care. And plus, I think the chemical intervention also for nematode controls, providing seed-coated nano-nematicide, nano-insecticide, nano-pesticide. These are the things where, as I say, that seed will not be taken as carrier of new genetics like herbicide tolerance or other trait, disease resistance. Seed has to be taken as a carrier of all other input, insecticide, pesticide, your nematicides, nutrition. All these have to be bundled in seed. And if that seed becomes powerful, I think we can definitely make a difference in adoption of direct seeded rice technology. And that's where all stakeholders, not only seed industry, the insecticide, pesticide, nutrition specialists, they have to get together and develop technology which is perfect in this context. So a lot has been said about regenerative agriculture and promoting carbon farming and carbon credit through adoption of direct seeded rice. This offers a great opportunity as reduced reduced emission of greenhouse gases and several other advantages, water saving. And if we follow other regenerative agricultural practices like, laser leveling, mulching, conservation agriculture, direct seeded rice, no burning of paddy straw, biofertilizers, all these things put together can earn about 7 to 8 carbon credits per hectare. And one carbon credit, a good carbon credit international price is about 35 to 40 US dollar. So in 1 hectare, you can earn about 25 to 30,000 rupees per hectare through carbon credit. Now the farmers have to be told about these advantages. The investors who are going to invest money in this are ready to invest. We are working with Grow Indigo, which is a joint venture of Mahaico and Indigo Company of United States of America. And a platform has been developed. We have about 80,000 farmers who have registered on this platform under carbon program. And the rice produced from this carbon program, as Sadhguru presentation said, has to be labeled as low carbon rice, for example, and that kind of product we have launched through Indigo, Grow Indigo. So if you have low carbon rice, it is not only the responsibility of the government or other distribution channel to incentivize procurement of this kind of rice. It is also the responsibility of every consumer, every citizen. If you happen to go to a grocery store and if you see a rice which has written on it as low carbon rice, you should be willing to pay 1 or 2 rupees extra for that, because that kind of rice farming gives you clean air to breathe in Delhi. Otherwise, in October and November, you have a lot of problem and you have every complaint to farmers that they are burning paddy straw. If they don't burn, then you incentivize them by paying more for the rice which they produced by not using, these kinds of operations. So I think it is a collective social responsibility of each one of us, and the carbon farming is going to be a very important area, but we have to be very careful that we have to demonstrate the benefit to farmers initially with some group, some area, and then people will fall in line and they will adopt themselves. If we fail in the first few phases, because when you bring in new technology, there is always a group which is waiting for opposition, right? So there are already publications which I have seen which says from land grab to soil grab, the new business of carbon farming. Okay, these are international publications coming. So you're going to have challenges. It's not so easy to get these things adopted. And therefore, I think we have to have a collective social responsibility to push this new technology. I am sure with the efforts of all of us, with a very strong public-private partnership, we will be able to take it forward without any doubt. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And over to Mr. Rajveer Rathi for the words of thanks.
Good morning once again from my side, and I was asked to give closing remarks in word of thanks. I think it's the most easy job when you are sitting with such a nice expert, but not to be repetitive, but 3-4 things which I think it's really important. One, I think DSR opens up window of opportunities, right? But at the same time, it also calls for a strong collaboration among all stakeholders, and I'll come later one by one, The other thing is it's just not a change in the food production system, addressing water and soil conditions, but also what Dr. A.K. Singh had just said about the additional business revenue which is coming from the carbon, the points which is being generated over there. And third, of course, the important thing is if you look at today's situation, I think there are some compulsions which are also driving towards adoption of DSR, labor shortage, water problem, and there are a lot of state governments which are incentivizing it. So these are the few things, and probably in the next session also we'll have more deliberations on that. Coming back to the main, I would like to start with Dr. A.K. Singh. Doctor, thank you so much for joining, and we know how committed you are when it comes to rice and DSR and anything to do in the collaboration cell. So thank you so much for that, and we'll continue to look forward this guidance and partnerships and the motivation to all together over there. Dr. Pareek, thank you so much for bringing that what research can advance a lot of things in terms of providing incentives to the either new traits to be introduced, either it's genetics to be perfectly fit in over there, and so on and so forth. And thanks for offering the collaboration, so thank you so much. And definitely our member companies would be approaching you. Some of them had already approached over there. Dr. Jaswant Singh, thank you so much for sharing your thought process and how state government is promoting, and certainly it's going to benefit in terms of rate of adoption by the farmers when it comes to DSR. Mr. Satnarayan, thank you so much for coming out such a knowledge paper. And if you look at always there is a challenge we face that, I have one set of data, someone else has a second set of data, but I think such publication will set a benchmark as a reference point, where people can use it and can refer it that what's the overall situation and what needs to be done. I would also like to thank my colleague, Ajai, Rana, Anuja. Thank you so much for spending your time and driving it. I would also like to thank the academia researchers from various state agriculture universities, international rice research institutes, fellow seed industry, media, value chain partners. We have the farmer producer organizations. We also have the senior researchers from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. So thank you so much for everyone being present here. And we have to break for tea. Yeah? No? We'll continue? Okay. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, with that we close the proceedings of the inaugural session, requesting all our dignitaries to kindly come together for a group photograph. And ladies and gentlemen, I would request everybody to kindly remain seated as we are straight away moving into the next session, which is the panel discussion session. We would request everyone to kindly remain seated while we take a few minutes to do up the top table for the next session.
Yeah, just before we move to the next session, I take the opportunity to thank the chief guest once again, and would like to put on record that FSII member companies have played a very important role in crops like cotton with the introduction of BT cotton, single cross corn hybrid, revolutionizing mustard production. I think now FSII member companies working with the IRI will revolutionize rice production in the country. The impact of DSR on rice production is going to be very big. And we all need to work together to make it happen. And I think we are very close to creating a history of introducing the first herbicide-tolerant rice varieties and hybrids in the country. Thank you